Welcome to the Extraordinary Health Podcast with your host, Dr. Paul Beckham, and with myself, Dr. Victoria Lau. Today, we are talking about neuropathy reversal protocols and, of course, some of the equipment that we have at the office here to help do that. But we wanted to jump right in and talk about results because that's what everybody's looking for when they're coming to our office.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's usually the bottom line with everybody coming into the office. I guess to me, it kind of even came up in just some conversations that were happening on social media here with some people because they've tried some neuropathy treatments at other offices and have not gotten the results that they're looking for. And I guess that's why, we do have some of the testing equipment we have in the office, and that's why we have the latest technology as far as treatment for things in the office here. And we're looking at not only, what's going on with your neuropathy, we're going to be looking at your labs to make sure that, even your body's chemistry is right, more from a proactive perspective here, and from a diet and nutrition types perspective, so that we can help you change your diet and take the, get the proper nutrition. So, that's why, we have, over 95% of our patients getting at least a 50% reduction in their symptoms. I mean, if you compare that to, what drug companies are looking at, they would consider a successful case anything where they get a 30% reduction. So I think we're being a little more generous there and saying that, hey, we want to see at least a 50% reduction with of the symptoms and of all the testing that we're seeing with patients here to consider that a successful case. So there are people that, their conditions may be a little bit too severe. I know we have some patients right now, we haven't even really started on the neuropathy treatment protocol because, hey, they're already on the severe end of the spectrum here. They have some things going on that, I guess I want to make sure that we're getting excellent results for them. So we're going to try and treat what they have going on first to make sure that that gets better. Once that's healed up, then we can talk about, going through the neuropathy reversal protocols here so that they can get, a better sense in their feet. I'm thinking of this patient. I mean, even though the treatment that we are doing with them right now, they already are starting to feel sensations. They're feeling hot and cold. They're feeling even, the sheets in their bed touching their feet. And that's before we've even gotten into our full neuropathy reversal protocol with them. So.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, in the short time I've been here, I've seen quite a few results already. Now, looking at that as far as results of neuropathy, what is a typical, like, say, neuropathy? You talked about, like, not feeling hot and cold, things like that. Is there differences for different people? What are we seeing?
I mean, everybody's affected differently, and there's also, different types of neuropathy going on. And I think most of the other offices that are, in town where we're at here are focusing on diabetic neuropathy, which, that can be difficult to treat, especially if you have somebody who isn't controlling their blood sugars. They're not keeping them down where they should be at. That's where we'll be looking at labs and making sure that we're, working with the patient to make sure that they're trying to keep their blood sugar levels at a normal level, or if they're not going to work with us, make sure that they're working with another healthcare provider to make sure that they're getting their blood sugar levels under control and they're finding a good diet that is actually beneficial to them to help keep them from having spikes in blood sugar and prolonged periods of having blood sugars too high. So that would be the diabetic type patients. There's patients that come in that have, chemotherapy based neuropathy, because a lot of the chemotherapy drugs do cause deficiencies, especially in some of the B vitamins. And, if we can get down to the root cause of that, and the people that have chemotherapy based neuropathy do excellent. In fact, once we're done treating them, there's really no reason why their neuropathy should come back, because it was from the chemotherapy that they had. And if we're detoxing that, and we're also getting, replaced, some of the, especially B vitamins that they are deficient in, due to the chemotherapy, they should be excellent. They really shouldn't even need any ongoing treatment after probably the initial intense treatment phase that we do with them here to help, reverse the neuropathy.
So is that what you mentioned, detox? Is that what doing some of these protocols are intentionally doing, detoxing to help your body heal?
I mean, might be part of it there. I mean, because literally, let's just go to the diabetic neuropathy type situation. I mean, they're having problems because their smallest blood vessels, their arterioles, that only allow like one blood cell through them, are getting hard and rigid, usually due to the fact that they have, too much, or their blood sugar levels are staying high for very prolonged periods of time, and it's basically kind of killing off those arterioles there. So their feet, start to turn purple. If it gets really severe, they're going to have some ulcers there then too. And, that's when it's getting on that severe end of the spectrum, and we want to make sure that we're clearing up those ulcers, and they're obviously working with somebody else to make sure they're not getting any infections in those ulcers there. And, once we have that kind of cleared up, then they can get better here. But the therapies that we have are there to help improve blood flow. If we want to get into the therapies that we have, we get into like our class 4K laser. It's a 100-watt laser. There's nobody in the area here that has that. I don't even know how far you might have to travel. It just came out last December. We were one of the first ones. I think we were one of the first 28 or so to even have the laser in the United States. The nice part about it is that it decreases the amount of time that patients have to be in our office to get the same results we had even with our previous laser, which was a 20-watt laser. The previous laser would take an hour to get people treated. Now it takes about, on average, 12 minutes. If we run some other protocols, and we have, that's kind of another layer on top of everything here as well. We have the laser, but we also work with the Laser Therapy Institute, and we have their protocols on how to treat neuropathy. I think there's 5, 6 different protocols just in treating neuropathy here that we run people through, so they're getting the benefit of all those different protocols to help improve the blood flow, help even regrow the nerves and the blood vessels, usually especially in the feet. When it gets really bad, people start to have it affect their hands as well. So that's where the K-laser helps out there. We also have our PEMF therapy, and that one was originally, when they originally developed it, it was for helping to heal diabetic ulcers and non-union fractures. And most people are going to see, a difference just in using that therapy, because that really helps to speed up blood flow to the tissues and all that. You can, if you get into like the mitochondria of the cells, PEMF therapy, they'll call it cellular exercise. So it's kind of it's probably a really good description of it here, because we're helping to speed up the cells as far as how much energy they're producing. Because at rest, they'll only produce like 2 ATP, which is the fuel, that the cells in your body need to produce energy to heal itself, to have enough energy to get around and move around and all that. But it'll speed it up by 16 times. So utilizing that to help, just improve the healing process can make a huge difference in a person's life.
Well, that's exponential.
Yeah,
to look at it.
Yes, definitely.
Now, as far as treatment protocols, are those predetermined? Is that based on, what each patient has going on, specifically the word I want to use, how bad, their neuropathy is? Is it, how do you determine that?
Well, I mean, that's where, patients, when they first come in, we have free consultations so that we can at least get an initial baseline to find out, do you have neuropathy at all or not? And we use basically a computerized test, which is going to help us see if you have an autonomic neuropathy. So an autonomic neuropathy is going to be the simplest way to think of it is are the nerves that are going to your internal organs, like your blood vessels, even your heart, your intestines, and all that sort of stuff, affected by the neuropathy here. Because a lot of people will come in and they'll actually have other symptoms that they might not even associate with, the numbness and tingling that they're actually having going on in their feet and possibly in their hands if it gets that bad. That all of a sudden, oh my goodness, you mean my bowels that are kind of moving a little bit slower here might have been affected by this as well? Yes, very, very, very well, or very might possibly be here, and that's what this test kind of picks up, and it's testing to see, just how well those or how much those nerves are affected. We can print off a report and see exactly where that's at, and then we also have a physical exam. It's more that's one that's been adopted by the International Neuropathy Association. There's several of them out there. I just find this one to be the most complete. That gives us the most information, so we can see all the different types of sensory motor neuropathies that a person might have going on here. So that again, as a person goes through treatment, we can go back to these baseline computerized tests as well as physical exam tests, and just see how much better this person is getting with the treatment. Are they tracking the way that we kind of expect them or not? So instead of just, okay, here's the test, yeah, you have neuropathy, get treatment, and then have that treatment for a set amount of time, and then they say, okay, you're done, see you later. Oh, it didn't get better? Sorry, that happens sometimes. No, we're actually measuring you and running tests as you're going through the treatment so that we can see, are you getting better or not? If you are, hey, we're going to keep on track with that. If you're not, we're going to adjust your treatment accordingly here. And I get research all the time, and we keep adding little bits and pieces in here as we see the research coming out. And I think, one of the latest things that just came up earlier this year here happened to be from some research that was from just the end of last year. It came out, and it had to do with at that point in time was some nitric oxide testing that we ended up doing, just to make sure that, hey, you're getting the proper amount of amino acids or some amino acids in your body so that your body can produce nitric oxide to help improve the blood flow to all your extremities. And that has made a huge difference for patients here. Another thing that's just come up actually because of the testing that we've been doing, that I think the only other place I've ever seen this testing done is inside of a hospital. But it literally, what has kind of shown up is that people are, one, dehydrated, and I would say that's been 99% of the patients coming in our office that have neuropathy have been dehydrated. So, it's a simple thing for almost everybody to do is just make sure you're drinking enough water, but you also need to make sure you get plenty of electrolytes with that too. So if you're doing electrolyte drinks, one a day is probably all you need. If you come in the office, we see that you're significantly dehydrated, we might have you drinking a couple of those a day or something like that. But another thing that cropped out of that was that with our testing, we can see, what do they have as far as water that's inside of the cells and outside of the cells. And 98% of the people have decreased intracellular water. And that has basically the thing that really helps correct that is a bodybuilding supplement, creatine. And again, once we added that in, we see people, just responding even faster to the treatments, because now you need to have that water inside of your cells so that they can communicate, they can function. And by having that there, having the electrolytes there, that even helps our therapies work better. So all of it together, we're just trying to find everything that's going to help benefit a person with no side effects, no known side effects to any of this stuff. You're changing your diet, you're changing your nutrition so that it's better, so that your body can heal faster. And, hopefully once we get to it, like I say, the chemotherapy patients, they don't need to be, probably treated long term. If you're in that, I would say moderate to severe type category, we definitely need to probably have some touch-ups periodically with you because, especially if you're not really controlling your blood sugars well, we're going to need to, have you come in. Could be once a month, could be twice a month, could be once every 3 months. Again, that's what our testing is just going to help us pinpoint down after a while here. So,
Well, that's great, especially to hear the no known side effects because, just like we talked about previous, some of these medications that people are taking actually can, in general, cause
that's the
neuropathy.
crazy part, isn't it? I mean, the medications that they prescribe for neuropathy are also, I don't want to say contraindicated, but they also can cause neuropathy.
Mm-hmm.
So the medications that you have that you're taking to try and help out with your neuropathy, and some people, they get the symptomatic relief with them. But the problem is, what I see in a high percentage of people, it takes about 1.5 to 2 years, and they've maxed out their dose, and it's just not working anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's just covering up the symptoms in the first place. It's not treating neuropathy. It's treating the symptoms of neuropathy.
Yes. That's too bad. So, no known side effects, everyone. Come see us. Now, speaking past, patients getting results, how long, will it take for them to start seeing it? Is that going to be different for everyone?
I mean, everybody's a bit different. Again, I kind of use the spectrum of, hey, either, and that's what's nice about using the testing. I mean, it can show that, hey, you really don't have neuropathy going on at all. I mean, we've had patients come in and that's the case, Or you can have mild neuropathy and, hey, you need a bit of treatment. Typically those people, if we get them treated, and if it's a diabetic type person, have them just start watching and making sure that their blood sugars are staying under control, especially the more type 2 diabetic, type 1 diabetic patients. They're going to, just long term, just going to have to try and keep their blood sugar levels, in control there. Ideally, you want to keep it down in the low hundreds there. My wife is a type 1 diabetic. She has her comfort level where she likes to keep hers at there. Obviously, don't want it to get too out of control for too long because that, like I say before, it just starts causing problems with blood flow, and it's not just in your hands and feet, just it's affecting everything in your whole body. Mm-hmm. And especially even get up to your brain, and how's it affecting your brain, when those small arterioles are being affected. They're getting hardened. You're not getting the blood flow out to those tissues. I mean, kind of gets into some of the therapies. I mean, even some of the therapies we have are laser. We can even run that on a person's head, and that could help improve some of the blood flow there. They're getting a central nervous system neuropathy going on because of, in that case, possibly from blood sugar issues. So,
Well, that is awesome.
So, is everybody different? Mild cases, they're probably going to need a little bit less. Once we get up into that moderate to severe, it almost gets to be about the same because then we need to just monitor them and find out once they get done with treatment, do we need to do some ongoing kind of maintenance or touch-up type treatments periodically with them? And again, like I say, that's where the testing really kind of helps us out, and the physical exam, just to know what they might need on long-term ongoing. So
Beautiful. So variation may occur, of course, with the results. How long is a typical treatment plan? Again, thinking, say, moderate to severe.
So if we go to the moderate to severe end of the spectrum there, I mean, typically what we have people coming in is their most intense treatment is going to happen over about a 3-month period of time. And then we do build in already at that point in time some ongoing maintenance. We slowly taper it down kind of over the next 9 months. So typically we have it set up over about a year period of time because we want to make sure that we get them back as much, function as possible here. We want to try and get as much of their potential back as we can get. And then we want to make sure that we can kind of maintain that, over time. And then again, as they track through treatment and we're getting their exams done, we can monitor them and have a pretty good idea of, where we need to be at then long-term ongoing. And then even after that, we can keep monitoring that. Hey, you're doing good. It's not basically, some people want to go off how they're feeling. We need to use some of the tests as far as the physical exam test and the computerized tests, as well as probably looking at some of your labs just to see where everything's at. because, hey, we want you to operate at your full potential as long as you possibly can here. I'm sure you want to be able to get out there and, play with your grandkids and all that sort of stuff and not have to worry about, okay, do I even feel anything here? Can I get out of bed? Do I sleep at night? Even if I get out there and do something, because the blood flow's affected so much that I get done at the end of the day and I feel like I have hamburger feet, And I've had people describe it as they feel like raw meat. When it gets really bad, that's where it'll be at. So that's kind of the length of treatment plan for there. Mild ones, they're probably going to be planned out over about a 3-month period of time. And again, we'll monitor the progress as people go through care, and most of them are going to be done in that period of time. Some of them might need a little bit more. Again, everybody just varies a little bit, so we usually have enough built in there so it's people will know even the cost ahead of time as well, so that they aren't surprised as treatment goes on. So
beautiful. Well, we like to see all that. You mentioned, excuse me, of course, the K laser, the PEMF. I know we have touched base maybe in previous podcasts, shockwave therapy. Now, are all of these done in combination? Are some done, some not done? How does that work?
Yeah, I think the one I didn't mention or talk about too much here was our focused shockwave therapy. That works really, really well. And I would say that's where probably our biggest comment from our patients lately is that when they've had that focused shockwave therapy done, and usually we're running that just on their feet, kind of the soles of their feet, and out to their toes, getting as close to their toes as we can get. And same thing with the hands, out into the fingers and all that. But, that's kind of FDA cleared to help decrease pain and inflammation, but it also helps stimulate your body's own stem cells to produce, the collagen fibers to help regrow some of this tissue. The laser does the same thing. The laser even helps, like I say, regrow nerve tissue and some of the blood vessels as well. So typically when people come in, that's kind of the whole trifecta of therapies that we're going to use as far as physical medicine type modalities. Some people do need to get adjusted. We're going to be adjusting probably their hands or their feet. A lot of times we're going, with a full chiropractic exam, we'd probably be, obviously adjusting their spine if needed. They might need other therapies as well. I mean, some people have disc problems where we're going to be using like our spinal decompression therapy with as well. So, but yeah, the focused shockwave is, I would say it is shocking the results that we get with that, because some people right away, if they have really bad neuropathy, they don't even feel it. I mean, certified CAs are almost afraid to turn it up too high. Usually they back it down significantly because they can't feel it. Mm-hmm. And it can take a little while for the really severe patients to start to feel it, but once they start to feel it, they're just like, I felt that today.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's interesting to see that. And, even for myself, I have these modalities performed on me so I can see, what is being felt or not felt. But to see, I do the shockwave on my hand at such a low intensity, and then to see the next person with neuropathy at a high intensity, yeah, it's like, wow, like we have to work on this person and get them moving in the right direction.
They're definitely not feeling it, and it's we can't guarantee anything, but we're gonna do as much as we possibly can to get this better. I mean, we don't want to hold back on anything here, and I guess probably even just touching on some things here too. I mean, I know there's other places that use things where you're going to be doing a, home type therapy. You're going to be literally using different things, but there's such a low intensity that they, compared to the laser that we use in the office here, you would have to have those things on almost the whole entire day to get the same therapy that you're going to get in about 12 minutes. And you should be up and walking around. You can't be wearing boots on your feet or putting things on your hands and sitting there and watching a movie probably 4 times a day. Do you really want to do that? I mean, once things start to feel a little bit better, you need to start moving more. You need to start walking a little bit more. And I usually tell people they need to do 1% better every single day. Don't shoot for, you're going to walk to the moon and back today. Well, you're going to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to probably set yourself back here. We want to go for small little incremental improvements every day. So if you could walk to the end of the block and back, just walk a tiny little bit more and come back the next day and just slowly keep adding and adding and adding. And next thing you know, you're running a marathon. I might be a little facetious there, but you'd be surprised by those small little incremental improvements, how that over time it becomes exponential improvements. Because even if you look at 1%, compounding there, it takes about 6 months or so, and all of a sudden you see a significant, hockey stick kind of shoot up of, think of that like an investment. You're investing in your health here, just like you'd be investing in the stock market. If you put a penny in the stock market every single day, you just keep putting a penny in, you probably find pennies in the road, right? So while you're out walking. So invest those pennies, and next thing you know, that starts to add up, and over time, that's where you hear these people that they were just a janitor, but they just kept putting money into their investments, and their investments kept growing here. Some might grow faster than others, some might be a little bit slower, some might have few setbacks. Same thing with your health. It's nothing is a pure linear where you're going from I'm here now and all of a sudden I'm 100% better, 3 months from now. And if somebody's trying to sell you a stock that says that, run. I'm not going to tell you we can do that. I mean, we're going to do as much as we possibly can to help people get there, but it's going to take some time. Especially, I've had patients coming in, they've had it for 15 years, 20 years they've had neuropathy. But all of a sudden, we're getting into that. I would say some of those people, probably that second month, almost the third month, of their treatment. And all of a sudden they're just like, I felt the cold towel this morning when I went in my bathroom. Mm-hmm. And it just starts to come back. Or I have here's something that happens with patients. They'll come into like, oh my God, I think it's getting worse. My feet are really hurting. And I'm like, that's great.
Yeah, you're feeling it.
You actually are starting to feel things they were like dead numb before. That's actually a good sign. It's not a bad sign. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's nice to have people coming in here so we can make sure that they are getting better. That's where the testing helps out. So the more we can see it by using a third, party type thing here and doing our physical exams, I mean, we will know if it's getting better or not. And like I say, we even have stronger protocols. If we have to do it, we'll do it with people for usually a short period of time, and then we kind of get them back on track again, and then they're kind of moving along just like they should move along there. So, we don't want to hold back and not get people things. I mean, I can't see doing anything like that at all. I mean, and I don't want to promise the moon. Obviously, things might not work for a person, but I think of all the different things that we have in the office here that we're using with people, if there's new things that come out, research-wise, that I find, it's going to get added into the protocol. Mm-hmm. And we'll go back to all the people that we had before as well and say, hey, we found this new protocol. Let's get you back in here. And I'll give them a short window of time where we can run that protocol on them, complimentary here, just because we didn't have it before. Maybe it didn't come out in research, Mm-hmm. Maybe there will be a little bit of a fee to it, but again, that'll be something that they can decide if they do need to have a touch-up or something like that, or we'll just change their protocols if they are coming in for touch-ups. Like, hey, we found that this frequency of the laser works better. That is one thing that has come out with different things nerve tissue-wise. Like if a person does have even some more brain-type issues, the 1064 frequency is mm-hmm. something that's been found to be helpful with more, I would say, central nervous system neuropathies, or even starting to think of Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia, just helping improve that blood flow and getting that working a little bit better. Again, I don't want to promise a miracle here, but people are seeing improvement with it. So,
well, here specifically, we can do the testing, we can give the recommendation of care, and then ultimately, it's the patient's choice how much they want to accept of care. So basically looking at, how fast or how patient do you want to move out of dis-ease or neuropathy in this case.
And we do have some kind of really compressed treatment times for people. If they want to get in here every single day and get results fast, we can do that. I mean, we're open 4 days a week, so you can come in Monday through Thursday. We can do it fast that way. You won't be able to have all of the therapies because there's one that we can only really run a couple times a week here. Probably supplement some other things in there to help out during that period of time. But you're probably going to see some results a bit quicker if you do that. But typically we'll see people a couple times a week here for that first 3 months there, just to keep constant, steady pressure on everything there. Just like getting braces and stuff like that. So the more we keep that constant, steady pressure, as far as the therapies and all that on it, the better results you're going to get here, because we'll be able to sustain things for you there. So
beautiful. So if you have neuropathy, come on in. No,
yeah.
But yes, that is the case. If you feel that you may or may not have some form of neuropathy, there is a free consult at the office where we will do testing to determine yes or no, and we will give you the recommendation of care afterwards.
Yep. So you literally come in, you'll get tested, you'll have your physical exam, just to give us an idea of exactly. I like to see that physical exam match up with the computer testing there. I mean, to make sure we have kind of consistent results showing there. And from there, we can give you a pretty good idea then of what kind of treatment plan you're looking at there, even the cost of it. So before you even get started with anything, you're going to know, what you're into there, what kind of investment you need to make in your health, to help get yourself back on track so you can do all the things you love.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what it is. It's an investment in health. You have to remember that. Well, wonderful. Well, any last words, Dr. Beckham?
Well, I mean, if you think you have neuropathy or you think you might have neuropathy, I mean, it's a complimentary consultation here. So we're here to help you get better. You're the one that's in control. So the big thing that you got to do is, take action, call in, set up that consultation there. If it's something that you do have neuropathy going on, the ball's in your court. We'll let you know exactly what you need to do. Then you just need to follow through, and we'll make sure that you can finish strong. So,
yes, wonderful. Well, everybody, thank you for listening in to the Extraordinary Health Podcast on neuropathy reversal. We will see you again next time, and please follow on your favorite podcast streaming services.
And share it if you have other friends that have neuropathy that like to hear a little bit more about what we can do with our neuropathy reversal protocols. So,
yes, thank you.